On Saturday, October 12th, Opetaia is going to take on Jack Massey for his Ibf Cruiserweight title. This will once again be an opportunity for Opetaia to share his talents in the ring against a blue-collar, rugged Massey. Let's talk about this fight and what we can look forward to when it takes place. On Saturday, October 12th, Ibf and Dmitry Bivol will finally meet in a showdown for the undisputed light heavyweight crown. This is a highly anticipated bout where these men, for the last 5 years or so, have been circling one another to find out who is really the best in the division. So they will come together, and before they do, there will be a cruiserweight title fight on the undercard that will feature one of boxing's most exciting up-and-coming talents when Opetaia takes on the UK's Jack Massey. This will be for Opetaia's Ibf Cruiserweight title, a title that he has won twice, and he is now looking for unification. He wants to be undisputed at the weight, but not before facing Massey, who is coming in as a highly touted UK fighter who competes in the cruiserweight division. He's had his feet in the heavyweight division, but it did not necessarily work out to his strengths. So he's now going to compete at cruiserweight. And he is definitely a fighter who can bring something to somewhat challenge Opetaia, who has stated that he wants to go back to boxing instead of the most recent seek and destroy type style that he has been displaying over his last 4 to 5 fights. When you think about Opetaia, he's a boxer puncher who has an aggressive style, and though he's a southpaw, he does sometimes give the impression that he could switch it up a little bit for orthodox. He goes in and he hunts his opponents down. His last fight was a May fight against Maurice Briedis for the second time. Briedis is a fighter who he fought in July of 2022 and became the champion by defeating him. His record currently is 25-0 with 19 KOs, whereas Massey is 22-2 with 12 KOs. Massey's most recent defeat was to Joseph Parker, and that was in January of 2023. And when you think about when he was in the ring with Parker, you could see the size difference where he just didn't measure up for the heavyweight division. But that was a unanimous decision loss. It was not like Parker had stopped him. But his most recent victory, a unanimous decision win in July of this year against Isaac Chamberlain, Massey showed that he had something to go with at cruiserweight. He's a fighter out of the orthodox position. He's 31 years of age, and he can put his punches together. In the Chamberlain fight, what I noticed most about Massey was his work rate. He was able to put punches together, combinations, everything off of the jab. He displayed good lateral movement, whereas Chamberlain seemed the lesser athletic fighter in the ring. Now, when it comes down to Opetaia, his seek, search, and destroy type style may work well against a fighter like Massey, but if he's talking about going back to the basics of boxing, the Australian had better be able to box elite, because Massey can box. And I don't think that he trying to go in and box with Massey would be to his advantage. He's going to need to cut the ring off. He's going to need to go in aggressively and not give Massey space to operate. He's going to have to cut the distance down and stay close to him, because Massey is 6'4", whereas Opetaia is 6'2", with a 76-inch reach. Massey's reach is a little bit longer, and again, when he gets into his rhythm of boxing, he can establish real estate and distance that will give Opetaia issues. When you're talking about boxing, it's something that he does very well. A thing that should be considered about boxers is, once you let them get into their rhythm, they are hard to defeat. And I do believe that Massey is that kind of fighter as well, that if Opetaia allows him to get into a rhythm, it's going to be an uphill battle for him, because trying to box with Massey, who I believe is the better boxer of the two, he's going to be eliminating what his greater strengths are: cutting the distance, cutting the ring, and being able to apply pressure behind forceful punches from a southpaw position. And that's something that is a check mark favor for Opetaia. However, Opetaia is also going to have to show, not only along with the physical prowess that he has displayed with his most recent victories over Breedis, Zorro, and Jordan Thompson, he's going to have to show us ring IQ, because he hasn't had to display that very much. It's all been guts and glory for him as of most recent. But I give Massey something in this area also, because even when he was in there with Parker, he fought a smart fight. It wasn't the type of fight that he was going to win, because he was outsized with Parker. But he knows how to survive. He knows how to still get his shots off, and he knows how to operate from a certain range. So again, when you think about Riyadh season, the cards have been close to primarily 50-50 fights, and fighters have to respect what's being brought for them. And there have been a couple of instances, like when Opetaia faced Ellis Zorro back in December on the Day of Reckoning card. Zorro didn't belong in the ring with him. But fighting at Cruiserweight, I do have to say that this is an opportunity for Jack Massey. And we all remember what Liam Perro was able to do against, the highly touted fighter that he defeated earlier this year, Subriel Matias, whom he defeated in Puerto Rico in front of a home crowd. You see, sometimes when a boxer is capable, all he needs to do is get into that rhythm, and that will allow him to protect himself, get his shots off, give angles, tie the opponent up, kill some time, and repeat. So Jai has to understand this, and he's been in some bruising fights. Out of his last 4 fights, the 2 against Breedis were fights where he took a lot of punishment, even sustaining a broken jaw from that first time that they met. So him boxing is a good thing, but I wouldn't recommend it for this fight. He needs to get right back on that horse of being the aggressor of the search and destroy type. But I do favor him in this fight, but it could be close. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and liberated perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about this IBF Cruiserweight title fight. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.